Hello, guys. Stand by for a quick intro. Welcome back to another episode of the Strongman Winner Circle podcast. I'm your host, Nicholas Camby, and this is episode 73 with Austin Andrade. The giant Mexican-American broke onto the scene last year, winning World's Strongest Latino in the Shaw Classic Open. He followed up those performances with pulling 946 raw at the Deadlift World Championships. This year, he went on to take 7th place at World's Strongest Man and 5th place at the Strongest Man on Earth competition. So let's sit down with Austin to talk all things strongman and discuss his preparations for the Deadlift World Championships in Vegas and more on today's episode of the Strongman Winner Circle podcast with Austin Andrade. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, notification bell so you know when all the videos are coming out. If you're enjoying all the content, please consider being a member for all exclusive videos of all things Camby Dude. And without further ado, here is Austin Andrade, or Smash. Welcome to the show. I reckon we're going to have a great conversation tonight.
Dude, that was so sick, man. I appreciate that so much. That was fucking awesome.
Howdy, sir. Yeah, you know what? I had to put the burger piece in there. I love that.
Yeah.
Are they going to name a burger after you at that restaurant?
There already is one. The
What's
Beast.
it called? The Beast? So the Beast is yours.
No. The restaurant's called Cuarto de Kilo. And it's a Mexican-owned restaurant that the guy was from Mexico, so he moved up here and he makes these amazing burgers, and they're grilled over mesquite, and like the grill rotates. They're huge. Well, Cuarto de Kilo, so it's like a quarter of a kilo, and each burger weighs that, and so that's where he gets it from. But if you eat 2 burgers with 2 patties, you get on his little Hall of Fame. And
Oh, really?
I actually ate one of them, and dude, they are legitly probably the best burger in San Antonio. So,
Ooh, that makes me hungry already. I said I was hungry watching it.
oh, that's right. Yeah, you commented on the thing. He was all excited.
You know, it's funny. I'm surprised they didn't call a burger after you called the Smash Burger. I think that would have been pretty easy, right?
Yeah, right. Everyone has that. What is that? That Smash Burger, but that's a burger that's like really thin. These ones are pretty thick. But I mean, hey, I'll hit him up, see if he's about doing it.
Absolutely. But maybe it's to make it thick. You maybe do like 4 Smash Burgers or five patties, right?
Yeah, there you go.
All together. But I was quite impressed the other day with your 970 for 2 prior to the Vegas Deadlift Championships, which is very exciting, hosted by Giants Live. So how are you feeling for that contest?
I feel good, man. This is my second go at the Deadlift World Championship. So I actually got a taste of Giants Live. I don't know if you had that, if they were kind of giving you that if they warned you about it, but man, my first little go into Giants Live was a big wake-up call in terms of like how fast things moves and like the production side of things and just the entertainment value, which is awesome. You know what I mean? So this is my second go at it. The competitor in me last year didn't enjoy where I ended up. So this year I got a way better idea of what's going on and how things are run, what to expect on that side of things. So my training's kind of like tailored to that now. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling ready. As you can see, I doubled that 970. I tripled 915 the week and a half before. So stuff's moving.
Awesome. Are you planning on doing any more heavy pulls before it's right now we're about a little less than 2 weeks, about 16 days. So was that your last heavy set?
Yeah, that was it. Because I mean, technically that's the heaviest I've pulled off the floor ever. Because I pulled a grand, but that was off a 1-inch mat. So I don't know if you really want to count that, but
sure. But yeah, I would say that's of course great prelude to it. And then for the rest of how are you feeling for the rest of the contest in terms of the events and what to expect?
good. Yeah, no, they're going to be fun ones. Did they announce them? I don't know if they announced them.
I think I'm pretty sure they're out. I think
out, right?
just not very. I think everybody was just more focused on the log championship, so they haven't posting the event.
Okay,
But if you can remind the listeners, I forgot as well.
Yeah, so we got a yoke. We have the Stone Series, Wrecking Ball Hold, and Circus Dumbbell.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah.
The wrecking ball hole would be pretty interesting. That's just all kind of grit and pain there. But how's your circus dumbbell these days?
It's getting better. Uh, we had that big. We had the at Strongest Man on Earth was the Rising Circus Dumbbell Medley. So it was a good opportunity for me to get like 2 solid good months of like good training with it. Oh, did we have it at Worlds? No, we didn't. So, no, it was good to get that. A lot of the stuff is carrying over anyway, so I think I'll be ready for it.
Awesome. So kind of going back to the deadlifts. I imagine. So of course you're not gonna do any more kind of heavy. Will you do like speed work prior? Will you do like any more head deadlift sessions, or are you completely done leading into this prep?
Nah, we're done. Especially because the wrecking ball hole we got coming up. That's taxing the same muscles, and then the stones, taxing the same muscles. So yeah, we're not gonna do any more deadlifts, and it's a deadlift, man. So I've been deadlifting how long? I'm not gonna forget how to do it in a month.
Absolutely. So of course you're a strong puller yourself. Do you have any suggestions in terms of either protocol or methodologies or variations that you can shine on the listeners?
Oh, let's see. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy when I first started getting into strongman. Like, it wasn't. I kind of like I looked up to you in terms of pressing, and I thought I was a good presser.
Thanks, buddy.
And the win the press, you win the event kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But my deadlift was uh, decent, I guess. And then it wasn't until 2023. No, well, yeah, the qualifier for the Shaw Classic that year, I pulled 860, which I mean, I guess is a pretty good deadlift. But compared to where I'm now, it's nothing, where it was. And then, it's kind of crazy how you don't straight bar deadlift and you pull off of height, or you do trap bar deadlifts, because we had trap bar deadlifts one year
Mm-hmm.
for America's Strongest Man. And you just do different variations. You come back to it. And if you're just an athlete and you know how to deadlift, just getting strong in other ways, it's going to benefit you on the straight bar. So the way I really look at it is like, I wouldn't, I mean, we deadlifted quite a bit lately. Well, even just that for Strongest Man on Earth, I could tell you my protocol for Strongest Man on Earth
Sure.
pull. And we didn't actually deadlift a lot. So I pulled 961 at Strongest Man on Earth. And about a month before that was my last deadlift. And I pulled 850 for a double, and that was it. And then my coach was like, "Yeah, call it. We're done." And so that's what I'm saying is like you don't need to focus solely on deadlift to be good on deadlift. If you're just a strong individual and you take your accessories seriously and you take your um, stuff that's going to benefit a deadlift, so stonework, farmers,
Mm-hmm.
squats, if you take that stuff seriously, your deadlift's going to go up naturally anyway. So I like to tell people, well, that's just in general and training in general, just like the whole powerlifting side of things is squat, bench, deadlift, squat, bench, deadlift. I mean, it's great. People will get strong that way, but we got powerlifters at the gym, and we get them like running with the sandbag or running with the farmers or picking up a stone. And next thing you know, their deadlift goes up or their squat goes up. So it's like, I like to train other things versus just focusing on a 1 rep max deadlift to make my deadlift go up.
Absolutely. But it sounds like you're very disciplined. You're not going out there kind of, again, trying to show what you can do in training. You save it for the contest. So it seems like, because I remember last year, I think when you did the deadlift championships, I think you never pulled anything over 400 kilos, and you went out and did like a 30 kilo PR on stage. So it sounds like you're pretty disciplined in your methods.
Yeah, I mean, Tim, my coach Tim Ingram, owner of Heavy Metal, his main like goal with me, Nick, or anyone that he's training is just staying healthy. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have you heard people? It doesn't matter what you do in the gym. Like, gym lifts they don't. I mean, they don't count. I mean, for your own mentalness, I guess, if you want to say, oh, I was able to do it. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'd rather pull it in the show. I'd rather pull it when it matters. I'd rather, put it on the line and put all my training to see what happens at the show.
Absolutely. But we got some guest comments coming in. So Chat GPT Intel says 475 within the suit. So I imagine 1,000 is probably a big goal of yours. But are you chasing the American record as well at this show coming up?
Is that what that is?
To be honest, so Dimitar Sabatinov last year at the World Strength Games.
Mm-hmm.
When they did the deadlift challenge, because my boy Nico helped kind of promote that show.
Mm-hmm.
I think he pulled, I forget what it was in kilos. Maybe the chat can chime in, but it was somewhere around like 1035. So 475, just, we'll do a quick calculator. At minimum is 1045. So yeah, that would easily be over the American record. So that'd be interesting. But of course, Joseph Tower has a good piece. So when the time comes, the weight will be pulled. That's a great answer, Joseph.
They haven't even told us the jumps yet for giants. I don't know what the jumps are, or what the weights are. I mean, from last year it was 400, 430, 454. I think 470, and then the 505.
All right. Just interesting. Yeah, so it would be interesting after kind of, I think 454. I think with a good rest and some good eating the week before, some heavy burgers. I think you're gonna be right there. But it would be interesting in terms of, again, pushing for that record, or do you focus on the rest of the show? That's a big point. But I'm excited to see like Iron BB's doing the full show, which is pretty fun. So I'm excited to see him compete and see again all you guys together. But I'll be in the stands cheering for you, and it's gonna be a hell of a show. What do you have music picked out for where you coming out to?
Yeah, I mean, what I walked out to last year, Big X a plug, Texas. So the first line is, "Bitch, I'm from Texas." That's awesome. So that's gonna be my walkout song for my whole entire life now.
Awesome. Well, love it. So we talked a little bit about this at Worlds, but one thing that I don't think the listeners know that we share in common is that we both wrestled heavyweight in college. I was bumping up from 197, so I was about 245 and wrestled that, and you were cutting down to make 285, correct?
Yeah. No, I would, because I played football at Adams State, and I would play around 300, 310, and so we never made it to the playoffs or a Division II playoffs or anything like that. So my season was kind of over early November, and from November to December was get to 285 as fast as possible.
So did you do were you kind of like 10 pounds a week or 10 pounds every meet? Would you bump up like right to like 295 after each contest, after like each refuel?
To be honest with you, no, I cut weight the wrong way. So like in high school when I started wrestling, I walked in high school at 225, and I left high school at like 285. So I never had to worry about cutting weight. I never had to learn how to cut weight. And then I went to go play. So I went to Central. I was supposed to go to Central Michigan to wrestle out of high school, but I was there and things didn't work out with my grades. So during the summer when I was there, they told me, "Hey, this ain't gonna work out. You're gonna have to go to a junior college," and they're trying to send me to junior college in Traverse City, Michigan. And nothing about it, but I was too like at the my mom lived in where I went to high school was in Tucson, Arizona, and being in Michigan, and was like I was too young and I wasn't ready for that kind of like move yet. And so I just said, you know what, all this is happening, I'm just going to fly back home. So I flew back home, and like 2 weeks before school even started, I went to the community college there in Tucson. It was Pima Community College. And the coach already wanted me to play, and I said, "Hey man, Central Michigan to work out, can I come play?" And he's like, "Yeah, hell, sure enough." And then so like 2 weeks later, I'm starting for Pima Community College, and I'm playing JUCO ball. And so my first year and a half, I didn't even wrestle in college. And then when Adams State came knocking, it was like, "Hey, we want you to come play football." But at the time, I was supposed to go Division I. you come back to JUCO, and the last thing I wanted to do is go D2. I want to go back to D1. And so Adams State came, and at the time I didn't have a lot of offers coming in, and because I'm undersized, and so I'm football standards of 6'2", 300 pounds, Division I. They're like, you're a small guy or whatever. So Adams was like, we want you to play football for us, and I was like, I really don't want to go D2, and so I looked at coach and said, you know what? If you get me on the wrestling team, I'll come play football for you. So it wasn't 30 minutes later, I was on the phone call with Coach Ramstetter of Adams State, and he was like, hell yeah, man, we'll have you. And then that was in November. I was a December transfer, and then I transferred during winter, and then in January I was on the mat again, wrestling for Adams State. So that was my first time back on the mat. Was my, I guess, sophomore year wrestling.
Well, that's a pretty wild story. So, but now that paints a good picture. So you have the athletic background, like for football, like similar to guys like Tom Evans, and learned like Tristan Hoth was a CFL hopeful back in his day, and then wrestlers like myself, Evan Singleton, Kevin Ferris, just to name a few. So it looks like you have good backgrounds, both two athletic backgrounds, which I think is important for, I would say, development leading into strongman. But regarding wrestling, do you think like wrestling gave you kind of like an upper edge in terms of just coming into the sport? You think wrestling just, I always say like the discipline, I would say the way we have to drill and learn different moves, to kind of learn technique usually helps us to strongman. Plus all the hip training, just if you're a thrower, if you're doing anything. But what do you think wrestling did for you in terms of you for strongman?
Strongman, grit, man. Not being stubborn as hell. I mean, come on, man. Like, how many times have you been in the room and they're like, it's like you're on live goes and you're like, last takedown wins. Or we used to do something. Our coach used to be messed up, and it was like, if you don't get this last takedown, the loser's got to take off the winner's shoes. So he played like little mind games with you like that. So like you develop this kind of like, I'm just here to kick someone's ass. And when it comes to training like that and being disciplined, like you're saying, like, there's always a purpose for everything you do. So whether and talking about like doing all the other stuff to be a better deadlifter, like that's all it kind of came down to, is like having a good understanding of what training was before actually having to train weightlifting.
Absolutely. And now, were there many other heavyweight wrestlers that you're wrestling up against, or were you wrestling with like the 97s and like the 84s?
Yeah, so we had a pretty deep squad at Adams. So I was lucky enough to my training partner Thule, I was able to wrestle him, and he was kind of a lighter heavyweight, and he would hit a super duck wow. as a heavyweight, and so you had to watch out for that. But we had a really skinny 197 pounder, lengthy dude, just could like pick your nose before you could even do it. And so I mean, we had a pretty good heavy guys in the room that we're able to roll around with.
Good. I always love a great wrestling room. In my freshman class, we had 28 incoming freshmen, so it made that wrestling. And you think about that, there's only 10 spots, right? So that it made a pretty competitive room. But Zane chimed in. He said 475 kilos for a deadlift would put you behind only Mitch, Rano, Ivan, and Eddie, and Thor. I think. I forget what Graham Hicks pulled last year, but it might have been under 475. I think it might have been 465. So I think that's right. So again, that'll be pretty good marker to hit going forward. Joseph Tower wants to mention any special meaning behind the horns. That's the Texas horns, right?
No. So I mean, yeah, that works, but so Heavy Metal Fitness, that's our logo.
Oh, all right.
That's the logo at the gym, and that's my way of showing love to Tim and Michelle, the owners of the gym. So it's just, wherever I go, I'm gonna throw up the horns. But yeah, no, I see how it can get skewed like that from being from Texas and throwing on me. But I do also have a Longhorn tattooed on my arm over here too. So
you're just
whatever works for you.
So to talk about the heavy metal crew, so you got like our buddy Nicholas Guardione. Richie Muchigamba richly came and joined. Is there other kind of upcoming strongman in
Yeah, we
the
got
also?
Robert Figueroa, but he's forgive me, 90 kilos. Was that 200?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's a
98.
90-kilo guy. He's an animal, man. He's a combat vet. So he's little twisted in the head, but he's dude. It's great. It's so much fun training with him because like his intensity is like 120% all the time. There's no backing down. So it's like if you can feed off that energy, it's amazing. But yeah, Richie, it was funny because I remember when I first joined the gym, I used to look up Richie. I'm like, damn, look, this is the big dude. This is the bad dude. And then he got his pro card. I was like, I want to be like Richie. And then who's the other one? So we got Jess Figueroa, which is actually Rob's wife, and
Okay.
she's a pro. She's a lightweight pro.
I think I've heard of her before.
Out of heavy metal. And then we got Jackie Wood, which she's an OG lightweight pro. She got second at the Arnold, but she was like the first one to kind of like trailblaze for heavy metal. And then there was another girl, Courtney, that was a heavyweight pro. And then I was the next one, was me, the next pro out of heavy metal.
And then Nicholas. So does Tim coach all you guys?
Yeah, he does.
And programs and everything, nutrition too?
No, not nutrition. So yeah, Tim's just the mad scientist behind training. Nick actually works with Nathan Payton now. And so I take a little tidbits from him, and Nathan's a Texas guy too. So like, he's always cool and helping us out, and he'll throw me little secrets here in backstage every now and then that I love to take up.
The duck, has he told you about the duck fat?
I haven't learned about the duck fat, but I know how to properly load Rice Krispie treats.
We mean before a contest or properly make them?
No, like how to eat them before an event, and I'm not going to give that secret out. So.
Oh, all right.
I have to kill you now. Just kidding.
Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure he talks about eating Rice Krispies before like every big national. But I am going to he's coming to Top Strength in November, so which is a Rhode Island gym. So right around on the border of Mass and Rhode Island, but I'm heading over there. But here this is an interesting question from the Dark Horse, Austin. Where do you see Strongman in 5 years? Nick, where do you see 105 kilo Strongman in 5 years? Do you think Giants Live would get into 105 kilo comps? That's a great question. Let's start with Austin. What do you think in 5 years?
5 years, I think it's going to even be better than what it is today. I mean, I think the sport's constantly growing, which is amazing. And just like doing podcasts like this is what's really going to keep it going. And the guys that are like, in it, like me and you, that are talking about it and just having a platform to talk about it, I think that's going to help grow the sport. But I definitely see, I mean, and that's the other thing, it's just going to be even more competitive. Like, just imagine 5 years from now, like there's going to be some dude that's on a farm in Kansas right now that's like hasn't picked up a weight, and then we're going to find out he's a great deadlifter.
Well, there's so many opportunities for those type of guys, right? Because the OSG is an open qualifier for anybody, so anybody can come in. And then there's many more contests like that. So now we have 4 majors. In the past, for the heavyweights, sometimes there were 2, 3 majors in the show, but now there's 4 clear majors. And I don't think Shaw's going away. I don't think Rogue's going away anytime soon. And the Arnold and World's Strongest Man are kind of a staple. So I think potentially we could see maybe one more major come out of that. But regarding the 105 kilo scene, it's tough. The one thing that's keeping I think the 105 kilo scenes back is not having full-time pros as 105 kilos. So you have maybe over a dozen, I would say, roughly, because especially some of the overseas guys can find a ways in terms of sponsorship, but a dozen full-time pros that are able to do the show or just able to provide for themselves and their families by doing strongman. But the 105 scene didn't really have that. So it doesn't really help like guys like myself also bumped up, but it is one of those divisions that is super competitive just because of the numbers. Yeah. So I think having an opportunity, but I would like to see in the future, like potentially just like OSG does. So you would have the 105 open class, and that would qualify you for a World's Strongest Man 105 kilo. And that would be a setup similar to World's Strongest Man open category. So that's what I would like to see it.
Man, y'all were, when that clash was going on, that was awesome though.
That was the closest that we had. So the first year was just like Americans and Canadians. The second year we actually got a few more international guys. But that was the closest to have, like, especially when we did the groups in the stages. That was a lot of fun. But unfortunately, Clash kind of died out and kind of rebranded, and now it's kind of a different thing where it's almost like a very, very fast show, not as heavy. I was always a component of, still I got to keep it heavy because you still got to do it. But it's just I think of course we can get into a whole scene, but we're here to talk about the open men, not so much the 105. But compared to 5 years ago, there's so much more opportunity in the 105 kilo class, more opportunities internationally. So in another 5 years, it's definitely going to grow the way.
And then Shaw opening up the lightweight or 105 guys. That was cool seeing.
Yeah, especially with prize money for those guys. I think it was $6,000 among the podium, so 3, 2, 1. So absolutely. So if there could be potentially another Shaw, or Shaw ramps it up, there could be a lot to it. But let's get back to the Texas scene a little bit. So outside of course you have Guardione in your gym. You have big Trey Mitchells, you have Matos, Tommy Sharp now is a heavyweight, but any other big heavy hitters that we're forgetting about in the Texas scene?
I mean, Pena, he's down in the valley.
Yes.
Yep. And then and he's kind of one that, set the geez, here.
No, you got too excited.
Knock these off real quick.
Technical difficulties.
He's the one that kind of set the standard for me in terms of like being able to take advantage of my Latino heritage. And then we have talk about San Antonio America's Strongest Man. What year was that? 21?
Oh, back in 20. Yeah, that was of course that was a great time.
The heavyweight Josh.
Oh, Josh Silva. Is it Silva or Silvis?
I would say Silva, but he's from El Paso, and that's and he kind of I think some personal things happened, so he kind of had to step away for the time. And I know he's coming back, which is kind of scary because the dude's a freaking beast. Yeah,
he makes you look small. I think you competed at 470 that in 2021, when we were all together. Now, did you guys retain any equipment from that contest? Because they had like the cool shields, they had the fingers. Did you guys end up with any of the equipment at heavy metal?
Yeah, so half the equipment that was used was heavy metals.
Oh, all right.
And then the other half, like the fingers and the shield, were the only ones that were able to that were Texas Power Concepts that he made for the show. So we kept the finger and that giant shield,
the American shield. Yeah, it's pretty sweet. But yeah, that's pretty interesting. But yeah, is that the first time we met in 2021?
Yeah, that would have been the first time we met. And so there's a little background on that. Me and Nick, it was crazy because we're getting ready for nationals that year, and I don't know where it was supposed to be, in Coleman, Texas, which is like a really small town outside of north of Austin, or north kind of west of Austin, because of Pioneer Leather is there, and I don't know what happened, but I kind of fell through. So they put the show down in San Antonio, and it was at the food bank, and it was this pavilion, and like Dion was like, "Hey, we're trying to put the show on, we need equipment and heavy metal." We're like, "Shit, hell yeah, let's do it." And so me and Nick were basically the loaders and spotters for the whole entire show.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. So just hopefully it gets back to that days. But at that time, the prize money for 105, because they were trying to compete with Clash at the time, but it was $12,000 for 105 kilo, which is the most in any other 105 kilo show. So hopefully ASM will get back to that. Last couple of years has been $5,000 for the winner. So that's the big hopes. But since that show, heavyweights have gone up to $25,000 for the winner. But now back down to 20. But now ASM is paid out through the top 10. So I think
Giants Live qualifier too.
Giants Live qualifier, and then just even to keep talking about Strongman Corporation. Now they're having the 80 kilo America's Strongest Man and 90 kilo Strongest Man, and they're both getting paid out. So just cumulatively, there's more money, but I want more money for the 105s. Come on, just one of those things. But any big Texas heavy hitters that we're forgetting about?
I mean, he don't compete no more, but you gotta give him his props because he does a lot for Texas Strongman scene. Jake Fincher.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, he dude's everywhere. He's with Tommy and yeah. So, but I mean, oh man, I would hate to like hold anyone else out that's in the Texas scene.
But he's usually probably one of the more competitive states. There's so many different contests like every weekend. So just it's definitely something that you gotta anybody that wins a state championship or wins a big local show is definitely someone to keep an eye on.
Yep.
This is an interesting question. I think we can try to tackle it. But this is from did I just lose it? No, it's right here. From Nick. How long of an off season before diving into open weight? Oh,
Jesus, look at this shredded guy over here.
Yeah, I would say that's super loaded, Nick. So Nick's one of Johnny Alimo's buddies from Long Island.
Cool.
So that's a good question because I don't know how long you've been, of course, competing. But the big thing is, I always say if you're relatively new to the sport and especially young, you should compete as many times among your means. So of course you don't want to over compete, but if you're able to compete maybe 5 or 6 times and get that experience and touch all different implements, that's probably the best way to do it. As a 231, I used to dive into heavyweight shows like amateur heavies just to get the experience. But is there anything you want to add on that, Smash?
So I would say, I mean, I think you should only be peaking maybe 2, 3, 4 times a year for a show. You know, and then you got the Canadians, which are there goes those dudes are just dogs, man. They compete all summer long, and so you can take that style of training where and then when it snows, they just do have this long off season. But I mean, at that, I would try to just lay off heavy weights. A good amount of the year so you can build up, like I guess that what you would call the off season. But I mean, I don't know. I think everyone's kind of different because I'm gonna benefit from the weights different from how you're gonna benefit from the weight. So I think, I mean, that's why I don't like to really like, you know, 8-week prep, 10-week prep, 12-week prep. People kind of you know, narrow you down to these parameters. And really, I think weightlifting is an art form, and you kind of really have to go with how your body's feeling. And so, you know, if you need 3 months to do an off season to feel good, then that's good for you. If you need a month, do it up, man.
Sure. But I would say, especially in the early in your career, I think you could also jump into the show, especially amateur show. Sometimes the weights are not big enough to really kind of not to throw you off, but you're able to jump in the show. It's like a good training day. And then it's a good way to get experience, meet new people, get new information, get new sources of information. So
I mean, the whole experience side of things, everything, man. Because like, I mean, just talk about the Canadians again. You know, Tristan and Wes, my boys, and then Jeffers too. But and Joey, can't forget Joey Lovely to do the. I love that dude.
So many.
But like they, damn, what the hell was I trying to say? I totally messed up talking about them. But
you talking? So you were talking about?
Yeah, they
program.
They do so many shows that I think sometimes they'll eclipse what I've done in like 2 years. Like I think maybe in my strongman career I've done maybe 17 shows. I think they'll do that in a year or 2 years. And that experience, like, I mean, talk about mat time in wrestling. Like, how important is mat time? How important is getting snaps and playing football? Like, just being under that whistle, being on that time under tension's like critical. So I always like, if a show's light enough and you're not going to beat yourself up doing it, go do it. Get that experience.
Absolutely. So I hope that was of course, a great suggestion for you, Nick. So just get out there and just try. And I would say, I think the last time Nick chimed in, he was, or I do follow him. I think he was around 280. So I think 280 is plenty heavy for opens. But you know, I did want to touch about something. So I think for you talked about in a given you potentially have 2, maybe 3 or 4 peaks if you're lucky on the high end, 4 peaks within a given season. But I think with the Canadians, I think they do focus on like they're going to peak at this show, they're going to peak at that show, but they'll still compete in between those peaks, and you can still compete and be competitive, but not be fully peaked. You can still be doing your squat, bench, deadlift, and still put out a good show or give a good run. So I always feel like in strong that people sometimes will shy away from contests because they're not fully peaked, but you can still do well, gain experience, and keep moving forward in the sport and progressing where you want to be without being fully peaked. What do you think? What do you think? Is that a good answer?
That's perfect. Yeah, because there's especially in the sport, and especially what I've learned coming up, and is there's times where, like, I know I was 2 weeks off of the Shaw, so I was technically still peaked for the Giants Live that year. And when I pulled the 947, like, I was still peaked, but I wasn't peaked for that like specific event or whatever. I think it's just important to like be ready at all times too. So like, you never want to just, dedicate an off season if you know that's when you're not going to be doing anything, like around the holidays, if you're not going to be like traveling anyways, or you're just staying in kind of thing. So, dedicate that your off season. But, these shows pop up, and sometimes like, Giants needs a spot, and they ask me, I'm not saying no, so you're going out there and just be ready to throw down.
Absolutely. Nick says, thank you. Of course, you're welcome, Nick. But Joseph Tower is asking about Gabe. Do you know if Gabe is making a comeback anytime soon? I'm not sure if he's doing ASM this year. I know he's been pretty busy commentating. Of course, he has his young girl and all. So he did do ASM last year. I'm not sure. I think he did the Olympic City Pro-Am early in the year. So I think he's making his way back. He's always training. So hopefully we'll see him getting back slowly getting back into form.
Yeah, I know he went out to Finland and did something too this last.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, the Stones of Strength and then the FE4 FE4 week. So there was two different shows because my buddy Big Eric Dawson was also out there. But I also have so now getting into kind of the next segment. It's kind of a fun part of the segment. I think one thing I noticed, in your celebrations, do you always like either if it's like a big stone load or big deadlift, once you drop it, do you go boom?
Yeah.
Boom. So have you heard of the Costco guys, AJ and Big Justice, and they have a song called "We Bring the Boom"?
I haven't. I have to check it out.
Well, I'll play for you. Can I start it from the beginning? That's gonna be annoying. Well, now we just gotta play it.
We call him Big Justice because that's what he serves. We bring the happiness and laughter when we
wish it was start older.
We're changing up the world with the boom or do. We bring the boom.
Oh, there we go.
That's what we do. We bring the boom.
Hell yeah.
All right, so they bring the boom, and then also they go to Costco and they do boom or dooms on products. But I thought we could do boom or doom on various strongman ideas. So
wait, what? So boom's like good, and then doom.
Boom is good, and doom is bad.
Okay.
So boom or doom on safety squat bars, in your opinion?
Boom.
All right. Long deloads before competitions, like 8 days or more. Boom or doom?
Boom.
All right. I do agree. Chicken shakes.
Doom.
I've tried one. I was able to get it down, but I didn't try it again. Have you ever tried it?
Yeah, in college. Gross.
I believe it. But Zane was saying the boom was awesome at Strongest Man on Earth.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, Zane.
So like little quick backstory. I've been doing that forever.
Yeah.
After any lift, you can go back on my Instagrams and like after a lift, I'm yelling boom, and then see even at Giants Live last year, my 880, I hit it so fast and it like shocked me, and I dropped it and I yelled boom. So like that's just something. Yeah, just
you bring the boom. I think they took your song. But the next one, boom or doom, nose torque.
Boom. Oh, I mean nose torque or any salt.
Like a ammonia's.
Okay, yeah, boom.
Mouthpieces.
Boom. Sometimes.
All right. Mostly boom. Tsunami bars.
We have one at the gym because you gave it to Richie.
Yes, that's right.
I haven't used it yet.
All right.
I don't know.
So to be determined. Pulling out of contests.
Doom.
Doom. Yeah, I think that's an easy one. Everybody, I feel like it's only bad for the competitor and bad for the fans. No one likes
Only
that.
if you cannot walk, then that's the only time you should pull out a contest.
Yeah, that was pretty much me.
I
My
know
two,
it
my
was.
two inch, my SI joint made me crooked. So it was like
See,
two.
but Camby, you're a dog, dude. So it's
Yeah.
like no one can take that away from you, and that's it.
That's right. Outlandish celebrations in strongman.
Outlandish, like boom.
Just like over the top. Maybe like let's say like Evan Singleton stealing Triple H's
No, that's
entrance.
awesome. No,
You love
boom,
that?
100%.
It's
Bobby
boom,
Thompson picking up Ed Cohen after a deadlift. Boom. That's
boom.
fucking hilarious. It's awesome. Keep it.
All right. So outlandish is boom. And then Nick Gardione told me to mention this: the squad event at Strongest Man on Earth. Boom or doom?
Boom.
Boom. Now, of
I
course,
definitely doomed it, but it's boom.
so now over when it was there was most I think Lucas was talking a little bit about it. Of course, you guys got your angle height because he was on the podcast last week. You got like your different angle, you got your the width of your feet and all. Everybody had to travel the same amount of distance. Is that right? Is that was
Yeah. So yeah, it was from point A to point B. You had to touch and come back up, and that was the
so
event.
so for the most part, because I always feel like because you're pretty historically you're a pretty strong squatter, right? Like 800 pounds and above.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because of course you don't want to see someone get someone that a great squatter not get a lift, and if you got a lift, you would have been on the podium. But is it you think it was just too ambitious of a contraption for the first time around, or maybe a little more testing should have been done?
Yes and no. I mean, the hardest thing about it, dude, and the same thing with like the car leg press got
Like
so much
yeah.
criticism as well the first year. I'll tell you what, if they have that event again, that's not going to happen. I'm going to smoke people on it. I'll beat Hooper on it. Ooh, you know what I mean? Like it's so. I'll tell you what happened. First smo, right?
Mhm.
You know, so that's already kind of got my anxiety up. We got to go get the squat in. So you know, equipment testing. You know how that is. It's
Sure.
especially at Worlds when you're going back to them like, damn, I'm a world's strongest man, and we're equipment testing right now. So there's a little bit of like that allure to it. And so, you know, we're going back there, and you have Mike Philippi yelling at you, get your feet right. You know what I mean? You have Ed Cohen's behind you, like checking, oh, this is good. You know what I mean? So you got all these great people and strength that are around you. And so all this stuff's going on, and you're trying to soak in the moment. You're trying to find a good spot for yourself. And there, when we got our, there was no weight on the implement.
Mm-hmm.
And Shaw said he gave us an opportunity to put weight on it. You know, if he said he did. I just didn't take advantage of it. I don't think anyone else did. Too. So I got a good spot for that would have been for weightless squat, I guess. As soon as I walked out there, and I was feeling confident. As soon as I walked there, I racked it. My feet were in the wrong spot. I felt it as soon as I unracked. I was like, "This is not." And it was my feet were just too far back. And the thing is, like, you put the word squat, you know, you're gonna have the powerlifting community come in and was that's not a squat, and you're gonna have all these people, this is not a squat, they're just gonna judge it. At the end of the day, it was a fixed up and down. You had to get the implement from point A to point B and back up again. And if you're able to do that, then you got a rep. And so, you know, you can put all this criticism on the knee angle, this and that. At the end of the day, we all had to walk out there. We all had to try to move everything was explained to us in the rules meeting, and shit just didn't happen. So, you know what? Next year, if they put it back in there, I'm invited again. It's going to be a different story.
Well, I think you'll get an invite back, but yeah, it was definitely interesting. And I had Brycey on a couple episodes, and he said any squat event is always the hardest to judge, hardest to set up, hardest to get right. So I do appreciate Brian Shaw's ambition to get like really cool events in there. Of course, I think he's definitely, just like his strongman career, he's going to see what he did wrong or see where he fell short and going to make it better, because of course you want to see all those guys at least get a rep. So it would be like more of a true strength rather than potentially just learning how to work the mechanism that day. Right. But that's kind of part of strongman. It's not standardized. So it's just figuring it out on the day of. But I did want to go back to, when we were doing when we were in the boneyard, so the equipment testing at World's Strongest Man, like we had to pick up 1,000-pound car and do the height just before we even competed. And I think I ended up doing it twice, which was a lot. But just that, and then we had like Eddie Hall in the background doing their own videos, so it was kind of nerve wracking. And then you kind of figured out that like all these guys that you've been doing all the stuff together, I'm like, these guys are probably going to be in our group.
Yeah, right. No, it was cool, man. You know what I liked about it? Like, I love that it was it's kind of like feeling like a changing of the guard in terms of strongman in general. You know what I mean? Like so you have a group of guys coming out they're retiring from the sport, and then you got a new like group of guys coming in, and I'm so blessed and like grateful that I'm a part of that one coming in, like with you and Crowder and Goldtree and Wes and all. We can name all these guys, but it's like, it was like to be a part of that rookie group that came in, like that big rookie group that came in, was, I think, awesome.
Absolutely. The Sway Station wants to say, Austin, you seem like such a down-to-earth guy. I can't wait to see what you do in the coming years. Thanks for the tip. And of course, Isaac chimed in, was saying, I thought the squat was too high, or the weight was too high, which I guess maybe they only had Big Brian Shaw and Nick Best tested. I would like to see a little more testers. But of course, those are
and then JF was another tester.
Oh my God, this of course all got ridiculously good squatters. So the deadlift champs in Vegas, is that your last contest of the year, or are you planning on doing any more?
No, that'll be it. If I could do America's Strongest Man, I would, but I can't. Just life is getting in the way of that one, so not going to be able to make it out there. I'm kind of bummed on that one, but definitely, 2025 is going to be on the schedule. So yeah, Giants Vegas is going to be the last one of the year unless anything else comes up after that. I'm gladly, if anyone's listening, I'm glad to take shows.
All right,
invite me out. I'll yell boom and get people into the seats.
It's an interesting contest. I'm seeing people go out. I think it would just be more of a vacation destination. But Singapore is having a contest with the Extinct Games. I think the notable people from the U.S. is Nadia and Jacob Finnery of California.
Okay,
they're heading out there. But I think they're first time promoters, so it would be interesting in terms of how they do with a big international competition. But they got a lot of different names over there. So given that Vegas is your last contest of the year, what does your off season look like, and what are some of your off season goals?
Off-season goals, bigger, faster, stronger, always. No, honestly, seeing what getting to World's Strongest Man finals was, and competing 12 events in 4 days, and how tough that was, kind of was a wake-up call in terms of like how much better in shape I need to be. So that's going to be a main focus and goal for me.
Are you planning on losing weight?
No, I'm just going to be better.
So you want to be a leaner 390, 380?
I couldn't tell you what I'm right. I'm above 400 right now. Yeah, I'm going to be going for some records in a couple weeks, bro. I need to put some
above 400. All right. I just broke for 300 the other day.
There you go. Hey, we're getting closer to weight.
Absolutely. But yeah, you're saying, so you want to be a meaner, leaner, faster, 400. Anything else? Joseph Tower says 449. That'll be a big. I think you would know if you were 449.
I already feel No, I mean, I'm 400 pounds and I just got that first row of abs coming in, so I'm feeling pretty good. No, I think just I don't know what the goals are written down, like, but I just, because I haven't reflected on them yet, because the season's not quite over for me. But in terms of what Worlds was for me, and what terms of what Strongest Man on Earth was for me, and what I need to do to get better, I'll reflect on it, and there'll be more like in depth, what I need to do, but it's going to be getting in shape, or in better shape. And, yeah, and whatever that means is whatever that means. I'll get after it. But if anything, yeah, it's strongman at the end of the day, so get stronger.
Anything else? Anything outside of like pure competitions? Are you coaching yourself? Are you? I know you and Nick have done some. Of course, I've seen on your YouTube channel, you guys have done some workouts. You guys plan on putting out any more content, or
Yeah,
any thoughts along those lines?
for sure. Yeah. So, goals outside of me, is to get Nick on the OSG podium, number
Nice.
one. Nicholas Guardione is my training partner. I have to shout him out. Me and that dude have been going last 5 years now. I think
Wow.
that's what it is. It's come to, but we've been training partners. I definitely wouldn't be, where I am without him. Hopefully you can say the same about me, but so getting him, I think to get him, winning the Arnold's, getting on the podium at the Classic, and then getting on the podium at OSG will be a pretty awesome amateur resume, so that's a goal of mine. The Texas Boys YouTube channel, yeah, no, for sure, we're gonna be putting out more content. It's the thing is finding time for it, man. That's where it's hard, because I got a day job, and just that and training. You know how long training takes.
Absolutely. I normally can't do podcasts when I'm in competition mode. As you see, that when I have big breaks is because I'm competing. So like right now, I'm still recovering from my bicep. I'm not planning to compete on next week, so I have a little more time, a little time to prepare, and time for awesome guys like you. So we've been pretty positive on the show, but is there anything that grinds your gears in the world of strongman or the world of gym culture? Like I said, I think the other day I just brought up tripods. Lucas mentioned the new wave of powerlifters because they're too science-based and they don't go after it. I said on the I went on Ken's Nowicki's podcast. We talked about many things. But now what grinds my gears now is that there's no sports betting in strongman. If we want strongman to grow, we need degenerates that drink beers and pack zins to start betting on us in order for them to watch us, and then for more money to flow into the sport. So the thing that grinds my gears is that we have no sports betting right now. So what grinds Austin's gears? Gears.
In terms of gym culture, not putting your weight away.
That's a good one.
I think coming into a gym and thinking you know it all, that's annoying. If anything, like in terms of like just being an athlete, I've been a sponge to anyone that talks, and then too, like, to knowing what's bullshit. You got to take anything with a grain of salt too. So to be able to kind of filter out what's good and bad, but that's on you. But yeah, no, if you come in kind of arrogant, cocky, and then too, like, don't tell me what you deadlifted, because it's not going to impress me. You know what I mean? Like, unless you're pulling the 505, it's not. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, cool. You know what I mean? Don't tell me about your lifts. I don't really care about it. If that sounds rude, I don't mean it like in a rude way, but it's with the connotation of being a cocky person.
Well, it's what happens if you put your ego on too many things, like you project a certain image, you're not gonna be receptive to new information and to learn different things. And even myself, I still learn things from amateurs. I learn things from everybody and learn things at every competition. So you have to always be an open book and retain as much information. So putting that type of ego or guard up will hinder your progress, because knowledge is power. And someone that does a great job right now, I think, seeking out knowledge and seeking out some of the best is like Mitchell Hooper, and you see how he's doing right now. So I think that's
taking stuff from him. So
yeah, absolutely. That's a good one. What's your favorite takeaway from Mr. Mitch?
How smart that dude is. Like, he just breaks everything down. But I think, like, if you want to get into specifics, and I'll give away a warm up that I like that he does. We started doing it like a really slow, concentric on a pool, like with 135, 185, 225, just super slow, just feeling every single thing light up as you go up into the lift on a pool, on a deadlift. And then when you get to the top, just dropping it. And I'll do that 3 or 4 reps as I'm, hitting those light weights, and I really feel like more awake when I go to deadlift, because it's like when you start pulling those big weights, the first thing is to be snapping. You see those guys pop and the bar like flies off their hips, right? And so seeing him warm up at Strongest Man on Earth, we saw him kind of Tim saw him, my coach, just take this really slow concentric movement. I mean, even you want to put a seconds on it, probably to 10, 12 second concentric, and just really feeling that tension and not stopping, because I hate pause reps, but not stopping when you get to like your weak points in the lift. So like right around your knees, and you know what I mean, coming off, if you're not too good coming off the bottom, like really kind of feeling that as you come off the bottom. So yeah, no, that's one thing we took from him, and we're using that in our warm-ups.
Oh, interesting. I like that. And that's for any session would be
Yeah,
that.
no, anything we got deadlifts, that's what we're doing right now.
Interesting. I'll give it a try. I'm always trying to work different things. Like a good example is Shane Germain. He's of course a big coach, but a great coach for so many different strongman in the sport, especially on the high level. But we have conflicting press ideas. Mine's more Olympic based. He does a big lean back, but I started even working some like that lean back pressing, because I always saying put your head through, but I realized that it does really kind of build some of that, like some of the back strength just doing that. So maybe I'll probably stick to my form, but I might try some of his training just to try something different. But again, you can always learn from everybody else. But we are getting towards the end of the show. So if you guys have any questions for Mr. Austin, I would put them now in the comment box. But when everything is said and done, Austin, what are you looking to achieve in the sport of strongman?
Win some titles, man. Being on top of the podium, you know how it is. Just being an athlete in anything, I want to win. At the end of the day, to have the Andrade name as one of the strongest men to ever walk the earth, that's like the main goal. So I have great pride in being in my name. So that's the end goal. I feel like I'm doing that, and I want to continue doing that. And after having the kind of rookie year that I've had so far, and learning from it, I feel like I got a good little future ahead of me, and I'm going to take advantage of it as most I can. And then see what happens.
Absolutely. Love it. So some things came in. Boom. Absolutely. Boom. Sway Station. Dream Strongman event to do at Worlds. Like what event you didn't have this year that you would love to do in front of the world on the world stage?
I don't know. I don't have Worlds fits me as it is, man, with the stones. So I don't take that out.
Well, I wouldn't listen to my
last. Yeah, no, I've heard of, but it's okay.
But you know what Bryce brought that up is because he's like, how can we change it up? How can we make it more exciting or in different ways? So that's where we're brainstorming. But I think it would be really tough ask to change that at this point, just because it's just been such a staple.
World's Strongest Man and it's Atlas stones. I mean, how you start taking, and then you take stones out of World's Strongest Man, you're gonna have some pissed off people.
I know you always need it as the last event in the finals. That's the big thing. But in the qualifiers, I could understand like a power stairs. I could understand that just for the sake of change. I would love to see a dumbbell ladder at World's Strongest Man, like we've done for the deadlift, like we've done for the logs.
That would be fun.
I would just like to see a log hopefully next year. I bought a log this year in prep for log prep. We had I had a Viking press at Europe's, a Viking press at Worlds, and I got hurt. So I barely got to use I've barely got to use my brand new Slater log. So I want to put that.
Yeah. No, I've seen it. It's sick too, man.
It gained 2 pounds. It was 293 empty. Now it's 295 because I weighed it. When Nico Chapralis was going for his OSG qualifying numbers, we weighed it and it gained a couple pounds. So
that's awesome. They're alive.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. But I'm not other too many questions are coming in. But of course we did cover a hell lot. So thank you so much for coming on. So if people want to follow you, so you have your YouTube channel, which I'll put in the description. You got your Instagram. Are you playing around with any other social medias?
No, that's it right now. Yeah, Instagram's the biggest thing that I post on. we'll get to the YouTube more since I'll have more of like an off season. You probably show a lot again. Nick to OSG. Plug. I have my Tex-Mex shirts coming out. I have a lot of people that are asking about that. So the Tex-Mex Team Andrade shirt is we're redoing that one, and then I got a new one, Smash Goes Boom shirt, coming out, and it's got a cool little image on the back too of me deadlifting. So we'll have those coming out, and hit me up on Instagram. Well, I'll say what I need to do because I don't have a website or anything, so it's gonna be all through like DMs.
Absolutely. So talking about shirts, I'm coming out with my own Camby shirts.
Okay.
Did I tell you that?
No, make sure you make a 4 and 5X.
I think right now we only have.
There we go.
Yeah. So there's one. So Tommy Lavelle with Auto Objects is making, and then the Italian Stallion. So I think I had the wrong color. It's supposed to be gold on the bottom, but I'll get that fixed. So that's coming soon. So that's the next piece. But for me, guys, so I have a seminar coming up in Bowling Green on November 9th. More information to come. And then also I hopped into specific only press coaching. So if you guys are interested in just press coaching, you can always hit Mr. Camby up. So to end the show, actually, let's see. We got one more comment. Will there be a Bless the Press? I want to see if there's a shirt. That's I think we've done Bless the Press shirts in the past. T-shirt that is. I think we've done in the past. Maybe sure, but I have like 3 other ideas before I go back to Bless the Press. But so we're ending the show today, but we always end the show with one piece of advice. So what's one piece of advice you want to leave the listeners to end today's show?
Make sure you're healthy going into your show.
Be healthy. Love it.
Yep.
Stay strong, guys. Thanks again.
Thank you.